Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to show you how to make this ordinary kitchen wall, it's just been painted quite roughly but it doesn't matter, that's an undercoat, into this using only joint compound or filler. First of all, after putting some protective plastic down on top of the kitchen surface, I'm going to apply some 9mm masking tape. I think this is the thinnest you can get. I'm just going to put it along the bottom and you'll understand why when I come to the end of the video. But right now I'm just going to take it all the way along, just push it in. Now what I've done is I've measured the wall and I've divided it into two. It's about 175 each way, so it's about 3.5 meters roughly the whole way along. And then I've divided it up and I've cut a little square here which is going to be the size of the tiles, and I'm going to use that as a measuring base. So what I'm going to do is start from the middle and then mark it each side. Now it might seem quite an arduous thing to do, but it's worth it, and I thought I'd give this a try using joint compound because tiles are so incredibly expensive, and this way you can make a really nice looking backsplash and not have to spend too much money. Now as you can probably see, because it's getting right through my face, I've used a laser to just make a line. It doesn't matter how high up or down you go for this bit of measuring. This is just to get an idea of the width of the tile, and I'm going to do it in a sort of what do they call that, harlequin kind of way. It just gives it a bit more character, in my opinion, because it's quite short from the top to the bottom, from the cupboards down to the kitchen top here. So I'm going to use it like a sort of harlequin pattern, which I think is a bit more charming anyway, and measure all the way down just to get a rough estimate of where the line is going to be. And it'll all make sense when I get to that part. So start from the middle. Don't think you can see. And just make a little pencil mark there. And keep on doing it until you get to the end of the wall. Make sure you go from corner to corner. If you do it skewered, you might destroy the measurement. So make sure the points are at each end and just keep on going until you reach the end. Now that you've measured through the width of the tiles on both sides, obviously, next thing you do is you take the laser and take it to the spots that you've measured and just mark the top and the bottom, and just move it all the way down, top and bottom, and just keep on going until you've finished. This is the quickest part, probably. If you're wondering where to get a laser like this from, they're not expensive, and they're pretty much all paint shops sell them, and hardware stores. They make life so much quicker when it comes to wallpapering and putting up shelves, general DIY. Now the next bit might be a little bit tricky, but it's not really that tricky. What I've done is I've found a piece of cardboard. I just got it from a strimmer, long box. I cut the end off, about 70 centimeters long. And the reason why I've done this is because when you tape it, it's quite difficult to get it straight at an angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pencil, a little pencil line all the way along, and it's from 1, 2, 3, from the third one up. So it's because it's 3 by 3, which makes a square, and then you can get a nice even tile pattern. So I'm going to start just a random one, this one here, and take it up to the third one along. 1, 2, 3, and then just mark gently with the pencil. It just makes life a little bit easier when you're doing the taping. And when you get a general pattern on the wall, just take it down to the next one and just keep on going until you're finished. Basically, just do the whole wall like that. And if you want to do it straight away, you can turn this round and do the same on the other side. It kind of gives you an idea of how it's going to look and how big the tiles are going to be. And just keep on going all the way along until you get to the end of each wall. As you'll see, I've mitered the ends here so that it fits snugly to the top and the bottom. This is possibly the most laborious part of the job, but a little bit of patience goes a long way, because the end result should be quite spectacular. It doesn't have to be perfect, because tiles never look perfect either, so it's always nice if it's a little bit rustic. I mean, that's not an excuse to do a bad job, but it doesn't have to be absolutely textbook perfect. So don't worry about that. Now you can see the nice harlequin effect on the wall with the pencils. It didn't take too long to do, but I'm afraid it's not quite enough. Now we have to add the masking tape. Now to add the masking tape, I'm using the thinnest one I can find. It's 7mm. It has to go over the middle of the line. You have to be sort of rough. You can see through the tape, so you basically know what you're doing. It's quite good. The tape is slightly translucent. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be good enough. The lines make a great guide. Makes it a lot easier to find and to keep a straight line. Otherwise, it would be virtually impossible and take forever. As you can see, it's coming along quite nicely. Push the tape down reasonably firmly and leave a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. Leave a little bit loose, because when you take the tape off, you need somewhere where you can grab it so you can peel it off in the end. But to be honest, this hasn't taken me as long as I thought. It's reasonably quick. So therefore, most of the, what I would call slightly boring stuff is finished. The rest of it's a lot more fun. Just keep crisscrossing until you get to the end. Now that was much quicker than I expected. So what I'm going to do now is just to go over it with a dry cloth, just to make sure that it's pushed down everywhere. It'd be a shame if it started to peel off prematurely. Now it's time to add the filler. I'm going to use a bathroom compound. I decided to use bathroom compound because it's a little bit stronger and it's resistant to moisture and mold and damp. So I think if you're doing a kitchen splashback or whatever, kitchen tiles, I think it's best to use a slightly stronger compound than the ordinary joint compound. Now I'm going to start from the middle. You can start from where you like, but I'm going to start from the middle. You can be quite random because it's not supposed to look smooth. It's supposed to look a little bit rough. Just apply it a couple of millimeters thick. Doesn't have to be too thick. You can maybe make it even thicker than that, maybe 3 or 4 millimeters. Some parts could be thicker, some parts could be thinner. Just keep on going basically till the whole wall is covered. Don't stop and take a break in between. It doesn't take too long. In the smaller areas, use a smaller blade. Right, now I've finished covering the wall with this sort of filler. The nice thing to do now is to maybe smooth it down a bit while it's still wet. Just pat it down with your hand. It kind of gets rid of some of the texture of the blades. Just a little bit here and there, just to give it some extra kind of texture, so it doesn't look like it's been put on with a wide blade. It looks a bit rough now, but it'll sort of flatten out once it starts to dry. It just stops that sort of continuation of the blade. It looks a little bit drastic from close up, but it gives a nice even look afterwards. Now we just give it a few minutes to dry, not completely dry, just to let it dry a little bit before we start to remove the tape. Now comes the exciting part. I've let the wall dry for about 20 minutes, nothing more than that, because I don't want it to be dry, because if it goes completely dry, you won't be able to remove the tape without great difficulty. But if you let it dry a little bit, then it stays a bit tacky and it won't move after you've removed the tape. And the tape will come off more easily. Now this can be either the most exciting bit or the worst bit, depending on whether it's any bits of tape that just won't come off There's only one way to find out. Make sure you have a bin handy so you can throw the tape straight into it. You can see the tiles starting to take shape. It's quite fiddly because it's a very thin strip of tape. But it's coming off nicely. Now this will lift up all of the pieces of tape that are underneath it, and it'll leave a nice space for the silicone. You might get the odd maverick bit of tape that's stuck underneath, but that's quite easy to dislodge. Every now and then you have to wash your fingers. Don't do it in the sink, do it in a bucket. If a bit hasn't come up when you pulled it up, just use a knife, be careful, just to get underneath, and then you can just pull like that. Right, that's the first stage done. The joint compound is still wet, so I'm going to be able to take a break and maybe come back to this tomorrow when it's dried. Now, before we get on to the next stage of this job, it's time to get rid of the water in the bucket. Whatever you do, don't chuck it down the sink because it'll probably block the pipes. Just chuck it somewhere in the garden. And I'll see you in the next part of this video.